This is Golf with Jay Delsing. A two-time All-American at UCLA. Competed in nearly 700 PGA Tour events, 7 professional wins to his credit. Over 30 years of professional golf experience. A member of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame and the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Welcome into Golf with Jay Delsing. We do this every Sunday, 8 to 10 on 101 ESPN. And with Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin. We're coming to you from the CarShield Studios presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. Our guest will be Tom O'Toole, former president of the USGA, founder of the Metropolitan Golf Association. We'll also visit with Mike Tucker. Mike is the head professional at Bellerive Country Club. But first and foremost, we say good morning to Jay Delsing. How we doing?
Danny, I'm doing great, buddy. How about you? I love doing the show. I can't wait. We got a lot to talk about. We got the Normandy project to talk about with Tom O'Toole, something that you and I know a fair amount about and are near and dear to us. And then Mike Tucker, he's head pro over at your golf course at Bellerive, and we're going to talk to him about the 2026 BMW Championship, the 2030 President's Cup, and man, St. Louis is just right in the middle of it, and I love it.
How about what's happening in Normandy? I mean, this is an area you grew up at. You obviously played this a million times. This is important for St. Louis to reconstruct this and really bring it back alive.
It really is, Danny, and the way this thing went about was, so the area in North County that I grew up in was actually a little farther north, believe it or not, and I played at a muni that's not even around anymore called North Shore Country Club. Normandy was more, I guess it's more towards the city, and it's at St. Charles Rock Road and Normandy Boulevard, and it's been around forever, Danny. I believe it's one of the oldest golf courses west of the Mississippi. And, we played it. I played the St. Louis Open there as an amateur. I played with Jim Thorpe's brother in that thing, so I played with some pros. And it's a landmark. It's a landmark because, Danny, it's a community centerpiece. Back in the day, I can't even imagine how vital and how important and how thriving that place was. And unfortunately, over the years, it has gone down as a golf course and just in its condition. It just needed a lot of help. And Tom O'Toole, and we're going to talk to him about this in this interview that we do, but Tom O'Toole had the conviction to try and ask Jack Nicklaus to be involved. And Danny, I don't know. Do you think anybody could have, maybe somebody has as much, but no one has more respect and love than you and I do for Jack and Barbara Nicklaus. Yeah. I mean, just having them on the show, we just flipped out.
And to get him to come to St. Louis, ride the property, have a vision for it, that is something that just doesn't happen overnight. That's amazing to get him in town.
And he also waived his fees. And it's a
what would
lot
a fee
of money
be for him?
I think it's something like $3 million all in with everything. And so, you know what, I know that Barbara was so clear about she and Jack's passion for children, and then who had a better playing career, Danny, in terms of saying, I mean, Tiger's great and everything, but has anybody ever said a bad thing about Jack Nicklaus?
I haven't heard it. If it's been said, I haven't heard it.
I'm with you, buddy. So you bring Jack in on this project, D, and it automatically goes, you go, boom, like, wait a minute, Jack Nicklaus is coming to St. Louis, and that'll help so much and has helped to this degree with fundraising.
So in terms of his designs, typically what are they like for the player?
They're usually a little friendlier off the tee, meaning they're a little wider. Jack, it's interesting, he wasn't the straightest driver of the ball, and so he's not typically one to make a lot of narrow, kind of targets out there. So it's kind of interesting. He also loved to move his tee shots left to right, so a lot of his holes will go left, right, not all of them. Typically from my perspective, on a Jack Nicklaus design hole that goes right to left, it's usually something you can hit less than driver on, But I think the signature piece to his greens are very difficult greens, but pure surfaces. The surface themselves are usually in great condition. And man, Danny, he likes to, I would say this, another feature to Jack's greens are that they always kind of sit at a 45-degree angle to the player as he's approaching. And so Jack was one of the greatest iron players of all time. And when you play his golf courses, you're like, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Because, you hit that iron by just a little, and you're like, how am I going to make par? It's so demanding around the greens. And so it reminded me, of how good Jack was, because some of those designs are brutally tough.
This is another area we talk about all the time with North County that needs an infusion of money, a place to go play golf, a chance to help out these kids, and that's what this place is going to do.
Oh, Danny, 100%. It's going to be the headquarters for the first tee of Greater St. Louis. It's going to have a caddy program that's going to benefit something that's near and dear to our hearts, which is the Western Golf Association, the Evans Scholarship Foundation. We are going to get caddies from Normandy into Mizzou. We're going to get college paid for these families and get golf to help change these kids' lives in terms of giving them a different choice. Look, you want to play basketball, great. But somebody's going to gravitate to golf because it's new, it's different, and nobody around them's done it. And so that's what we're hoping to do. And, Danny, when you think about this now, where Normandy is, and we're putting a Jack Nicklaus signature design in there that's public. So the community owns this. This is for the community. This isn't for, Tom O'Toole, or this isn't for Jeff Smith or Jay Delsing, this is for the North County community, Bell-Nor, Normandy, and the golfers. And it's going to be something that the community can be proud of. It's going to be an asset. And one of the things that Chris Kiermaier said, he is with Beyond Housing and a great guy. And we got to get him on the show because he's just absolutely fantastic. And by the way, this project doesn't happen without Chris. But he said at one point, Danny, that if you lose a community asset, it's almost impossible to get it back. And so what we're trying to do there in Normandy is really give that community something they can be proud of, something they're going to look forward to using and participating in a lot of different ways.
And it seems like the community's really gotten behind this. I mean, I know you're going to talk to Tom O'Toole in our next segment, but the community has rallied behind this and looks at this as being not only a golf course, but a real positive for what they're trying to do with the kids too.
Well, this is what's super cool about St. Louis. So when this whole thing is going down and we get Jack Nicklaus's commitment, you know who the first person was to donate money? Because I know you love this family. Todd Schnooks called Tom.
Is that right?
I'm pretty sure Todd Schnooks called Tom O'Toole and said, I want to be involved. I want to support this. And that's so St. Louis. And that family is, you can't go anywhere without seeing one of their wonderful grocery store markets on darn near every corner. Super high quality people that help. And it's interesting what the Jack Nicklaus name and the brand gives to a project like this.
Yeah, it's huge.
Oh, man, it's everything. Danny, I don't think it gets done without Jack.
So the other guy that we're going to have on, and great guy, is Mike Tucker, the head professional at Bellerive. You got the BMW at 26. You got the President's Cup right around the corner, so they're going to be busy coming up.
Oh, man, insane. And I got to tell you, the boys, we saw them the other day when we were at Norwood. It's been a long year. Look, it's been wonderful for guys like you and I. We love to play. We love to get out there. The weather is San Diego-like. It couldn't be better. The golf course is in perfect shape, but our staff, they're at the end of a long race, bro. They're fighting the good fight, and no one's complaining. But I've been in that seat before. And it's not that you're praying for rain, but it might not be that bad if it rain a little bit every now and again. So, and Brandon Smith at Norwood would never say that. Mike Tucker, of course, would never say that at Bellerive. But it's, I don't think these guys are that bummed when daylight savings time kicks in and goes back to, and we have a little less daylight. But it's super cool. 2026. And the BMW is going to be fantastic. And the Western Golf Association, again, is going to be prevalent here, Danny, because much of that money that's raised through that tournament is going back to the Evans Scholarship. And this thing is, oh my gosh, I think it was started in like 1933 or something, but they've been sending kids to school on this program for a long, long time, and we've got to get the community aware of this.
So in terms of how the golf course is playing in the fall, when you don't have a lot of rain and you're getting some windy days, we're talking about the greens really getting hard, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, Danny, yesterday.
And they're rolling quick.
Danny, yesterday in our group, two of us, and I was included, one of the guys putted off the green. I missed about an 8-footer from above the hole, just slid on the high edge, and just trickled, didn't stop till it got all the way off the green. It's just that time. It's just that time of year, and so it's interesting because when you're talking about PGA Tour golf and the golf at its highest level, there's just a few things that raise the scores, D. And we've talked about this before. We'll bring it up. It's noteworthy to bring it up again. Hard and fast greens definitely raise score. Wind. Definitely raise scores, and then high rough. Now, we don't have a whole lot of high rough without a lot of rain, but those other two components, Danny, I mean, how fast were the greens rolling yesterday?
It was incredible, and you had to attribute that to the weather and what we're having here in St. Louis, and again, no rain, so it doesn't get soft, and they're rolling fast, man.
Okay, so let me ask you this from your perspective, because when Pearlie used to come out and caddy for me on the PGA Tour, and he'd say, we'd work on a short game all the time. And he'd say, you know what, I just don't have at my home golf course that I play is when I miss a green, I don't have these conditions where if that chip isn't hit just right, it rolls off the other side of the green, D. Or it'll come up so far short that you're like, hell, I'm never getting the ball up and down. You know, It's either short or long. It's not like, and he said at his home golf course with the green slower, you hit that kind of clunky chip and it rolls, to 12 feet past and you can still hold a 12-footer. But the way the greens are rolling now, if you miss hit that chip, D, you're making double bogey.
Right. Not easy.
No, so let me ask you from your perspective, what does that do for your sense of chipping or pitching the ball, knowing that it's like, man, I got a razor's edge to walk here?
A little scared.
Yeah.
A little scared.
Right.
For sure.
And it almost makes you tentative, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're sitting there because it's like, I just barely hit that thin, and off the back it goes.
Right.
And we saw that happen all day yesterday.
Yeah, it was tough. I'm looking forward to your visit with Tom O'Toole. That's coming up. And we'll visit with Mike Tucker, who's been kind enough to join us in studio. This is Golf with Jay Delsing, and it's presented by Daugherty Business Solutions.
I'm delighted to welcome the Amateur Players Tour to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. The APT team has worked so hard to establish a national golf tour for amateurs. Folks, don't miss out on this opportunity. If you love golf and ever wondered what all the fuss about tournament golf is, then this tour is for you. We just released the 2024 schedule, and it is a beast. There's 21 events currently in the metropolitan St. Louis area with many more to come. But check out these golf courses: Paynes Valley, Ozark National, Stonewolf, Ambrier, Persimmon Woods, Gateway National, and a 36-hole event on Norwood's West Course, and many more. Okay, so the courses are certainly cool and nice, but what's really neat is the way the events are run and how they are run. The APT team does a fantastic job of closely monitoring handicaps and ensuring a good and fair competition. There are 5 divisions, a year-long points competition, major championships, elevated events, and much, much more. Right now, there are over 6,000 members in 41 different local chapters across the country, and all that's happened in just over 5 years. Join now and don't miss out on the best tournament golf in the country, run for amateurs by amateurs themselves. Go to amateurplayerstour.com. That's amateurplayerstour.com.
Hi, this is Peter Jacobson, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Welcome to the Corn Dunes Golf Course.
I would like to welcome you all to the Corn Dunes Qualifier. The winner of today's tournament will get an automatic bid in the big banana.
There's the anglers.
I'm from the great state of Oklahoma, oil man by trade, lover by persistence, and golfer by anointment.
The metal irons. Real golf wives.
What are you doing?
The wind's picking up.
Are you going to go down a club?
I don't know, but this breeze feels amazing on my Botox.
Denzel Washington.
We've all seen you putt. I don't need that black magic voodoo nonsense that's in your putter to affect my putters.
Jesus Chips.
There's 2 things I love. It's golf and the Lord. So let's get to blessing.
Johnny Longo and the Pindicate.
The prize money, 10 times that of any other scramble tournament. I mean, it's like the live tour of scramble tournaments.
Scramble, the first golf comedy TV series ever.
Now available on Amazon Prime Video.
Darty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Darty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Darty Business Solutions. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, any make or model, then you need to visit the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They are the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. My daughter and I both drive vehicles supplied by Colin and the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, and it's because we know we can trust them. They made the car buying experience painless and easy, and their customer service is second to none. Every single step of the car buying experience was taken care of for us. You can reach Colin at 314-966-0303, and he will answer all of your questions and put your mind at ease. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood has new or pre-owned vehicles to be purchased or leased, whichever you prefer. Once you visit the Dean Team Volkswagen on Manchester in Kirkwood, you'll be a customer for life because they will treat you like family. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. sitting down with my dear friend Tom O'Toole, former president of the USGA. Oh my gosh, Tom, we don't have enough time to list all of the accomplishments, but I know you got this little law firm on the side that you do it's taken up a lot of your time. But thanks for joining me this morning.
Glad to do it, Jay. I'm always quick to get with a good St. Louis U High Blue Buddy.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I could barely remember back in those years, Tommy, but it was a lot of fun. So I want to talk to you about the Normandy Reimagined and the great work that you've kind of spearheaded here in town to keep Normandy alive. And you've got Jack Nicklaus that's coming. But let's just start from the beginning, Tom. Tell us how this whole thing started for you.
Well, I'll give you a little context. For your listeners' benefit, we're taping this because I'm not too accommodating to Danny and Jay, which I should be, but my family commitments. So today's Friday. 8 years ago today, my dad passed away. You remember it, Jay. It doesn't seem like 8 years ago. I remember when your dad died. They were both huge figures in our life. But I was dealing with Normandy, the beginnings of it, when Dad was still alive. So it's been a little bit of a journey. But, we're all in it for one reason. We're trying to save this community asset and create programs, predominantly youth-driven, that will redirect and change these kids' lives in North County and beyond. You've seen it, Jay, in your travels in golf, but golf can impact people's lives in such a positive way. I mean, just look what it's done for you and I. But let's have it do something for those who are less privileged, less initiated, and get programs to really redirect these kids and get them in the right direction instead of, some of where the spiraling direction is going today. And then at the same time, you save this community asset, which Chris Kramer, our partner from Beyond Housing, the community development organization that's well-traveled in this region. As you know, Jay, I grew up in South St. Louis, not North County like many, and nobody knows Tom O'Toole there. So Chris has been a great source to, roll this out to the 24-1 footprint, the Normandy Schools Collaborative region. And he said once, if you lose a community asset, you'll never regain it. And that moved me, and I think it's part of this is a two-pronged strategy. Save the community asset for who? The community. Not, we love the East Lake project, Jay. Tom Cousins transformed that area in Atlanta by East Lake and the development that he spurned around it. However, East Lake, as you know, and for your listeners who most know, is a private exclusive club that hosts the Tour Championship annually. When this is all finished, God willing we get there, this is the community's asset. It's not Tom O'Toole's. It's not some for-profit strategy. It's the community of the 24-1 footprint, Belnor, Greendale, Normandy School District, that wonderful asset for that community. So that's really what drives it and prompts it.
Well, Tom, I don't think people really appreciate what this will look like with all these dots get connected moving forward in terms of the endowment, in terms of the caddy program. And you talked about these youth programs, but we've already seen that positive effect on the youth in our community. And it's vital to keep that going, especially in that area.
Exactly. To give you the short version, while I was still president, some guys came to me when I helped them lead an effort to restore Normandy Golf Club. And I said, okay, well, tell me what you're thinking. And at the end of the pitch, it was the objective to be the best public golf course in St. Louis. Create enough capital that you could restore and renovate this golf course to make it the best golf course in St. Louis. And of course, I said, and to charge greens fees and rates that would service the debt on that capital effort to restore it. That's right, in a for-profit way. And I said, so let me get this straight crudely. You want to restore Normandy so a bunch of white guys from West St. Louis County can come up here and pay green fees rates that they can afford, but the community can't. Silence. And I said, I don't know, it's a horrible idea in my view, but good luck to you. And I left that. And, Jeff Smith and Walters Golf had run this facility for over a decade. I got to thinking, there's got to be another way here. And Jay, you know me our whole lives. I'm one of these guys that there aren't many original thoughts. I surely haven't had any. And this has been done elsewhere. Isn't there a play philanthropically from a not-for-profit strategy to restore this golf course for all the reasons I said, community and kids? So I went to Jeff and said, am I crazy here? So that started the long journey. And, of course, the University of Missouri system owned the property. And that was a long process to try to negotiate first a long-term lease, and we couldn't do that. And then we finally got a lease with an option to purchase it for an amount that they had purchased it from in donors' reimbursements or contributions. Then COVID hit, hard to raise money. So it's been a difficult task. But, Jay, the guy that changed this project, and this isn't Tom O'Toole. And by the way, there's a lot of people on our team. It's not just me. It's Chris Kramer, it's Jeff Smith, it's Chris Anderson has helped a lot. Bob Clark and Clayco and Lamar Johnson have done all the infrastructure of the other build besides the golf course. It's obviously Jack Nicklaus, but I had the guts to go to Jack in Thanksgiving of that year, and this thing was about ready to fizzle out. I was running out of my lease and my option with the university, and I went to him and asked him if he would be interested in participating in this project. And I said, of course, waive your fee. And I said, and one other ask, can you help me raise the money? And, he was immediately embracing, which you know him to be. You've known him longer than I have. And, he said, look, I've had a competitive legacy. I've had a children's health legacy. I'd like this to be my final legacy. Barb and I would like to do something for social change. This seems like a great project. So that's what changed it, Jay. I remember Todd Schnook called me and said, I'd like to come and talk to you. I pitched it. And I said, and they were the first donors. And he said, I said, look, I think Jack Nicklaus changes the viability of this project. And he said, I knew you were building the project. I called you when you got Jack Nicklaus.
Tom, it's unbelievable. You have Todd and his family, the Schnook family, that has been so, oh my gosh, so prominent here and so giving. But you get a guy like Jack, and you can't even forget about the costs that he waived. Forget about you add his name and association to something like this, and it just, the whole thing changes forever. And how
credibility, right? Is there a name in golf? Jay, you're a better barometer of this than me, but is there a name in golf that has more credibility for standing up and doing the right thing than Jack Nicklaus? Maybe Bobby Jones or somebody like that in the prior days, but it's instant credibility, and he's been so gracious. And, he reminds me all the time, Tommy, I don't buy green bananas. Let's get going on this thing. And so we're excited that Wednesday has come to fruition. Jack will be there remotely. We'll have a video of him. He's on a fishing trip with his sons, which you can appreciate as the top priority with him and his walk of life. So, but yeah, we're darn lucky that we got him.
Well, Tom, so and the hats off to you for even. I mean, listen, it's one thing for you and I to sit around and go, wouldn't it be great if Jack Nicklaus would? It's another thing to go do it. I mean, it is, and the sort of person that he is, and what he and Barbara have done, the Play Yellow initiative, I think when I had Barbara on the show I think it was last year, I think she and Jack, since they started to play Yellow Initiative, just the two of them have raised over $300 million just in the Play Yellow Initiative. And so, man, credibility and clout, and it just almost makes it almost like magic.
Well, listen, you know, my PJ, Little Phelan Jay's had his health challenges, and Jack and Barbara particularly, in that every step of the way with Julie. But I've been to the Jake several times, and to watch what they've done in children's health and the actual consortium and care and concern in which they embark on the whole exercise, I've never, ever not cried like a baby at that event because of what they're doing. And by the way, they're crying too.
It's amazing. And I think about what Jack did at American Dunes for Folds of Honor, which is also another great charity that's supported so strongly by Schnucks and Anheuser-Busch and some of the other St. Louis heavyweights. It's remarkable. So, Tom, let's just lastly talk a little bit about what Normandy's going to look like once it's finished, because I think I don't really think they can get their hands around what you and I have seen in some of the meetings that we've been in.
Yeah. Good question, Jay. And it's look, first of all, again, I grew up in South St. Louis, as you know. I didn't have this connection, this affection for Normandy like people have, but it is real. It's out there. It's significant. It's not just the community. The community, of course, over the board. We're going to have to turn people away on Wednesday, I'm afraid, because, the golf, the place is torn up. I mean, we left the pavilion in place, but there's a real following. But Jack made several different revenues, and the first thing people very concerned, is he going to change it? Oh, is the routing going to be changed? We're going to change what the Fowler brothers did. And, we kept saying to people, Jeff Smith or I, this guy's done 450 of these things. We had just let him get his sleeves rolled up and get here and tell us what he thinks. And he drew several routings, he and Chris Cochran, his main designer. And they came here, and I remember the day it was 100 degrees here in the shade. And he's here after you were there at Norwood at the Ascension announcement. He comes over there and spends 4 or 5 hours around the golf course, first tee to 18 green, back to first tee, start at the 10th tee, go backwards, forwards. And he looked at all the different routings. And I remember we drove up to the top of the hill of the first hole, and he said, he was in a cart with Chris. I was in a cart with Kurt or Jeff or somebody. And he said, Tommy, what have you got me involved in? I said, Jack, we're just trying to get this place restored for these kids. And he said, you know what? These guys were on to something. This routing, they didn't have the equipment we're going to have. They had mules and plows, but they were on to something. This routing is the best routing that serves a golf course. So we're going to improve this routing. So, he had routings that started up there by Incarnate Word at the northeast end.
Yeah.
So we're starting in the same general place. And for all your listeners' benefit, the staunch Normandy followers, the 18th hole will be a par 3 and will be just as it is. It's actually going to get moved back to the north a little bit, but we'll replicate the hole because we're going to create some space there back at 17T, which, as you know, there's space there. So, pretty much that. But, we took out 21 acres of brush, 21 acres. The site's only 119. We took out 21 acres of brush. We cut down 310 trees, and then we killed the grass. And if you drive by there now, or hopefully you have, or you'll be there Wednesday, Jay, or your listeners, I mean, it looks like it's a golf course under construction. But the routing is going to be basically the same. And, it'll be an all new golf course, complete new putting greens, complete new bunkering, complete new irrigation system, complete new drainage, and we'll have new contours. But it's going to be. I think it. I'm careful to say this, but I've heard Jeff Smith say it, and he's in the golf course management business. He said, this could be one of the greatest golf courses in St. Louis, public or private. But why? For the community. So as I spoke at the Belnor Town Hall one day, I said, here's the beauty of this. This is yours. This isn't ours. This is yours. And as you know, the Metropolitan Golf Foundation, which is the philanthropic arm of the Metropolitan Amateur Golf Association, is the owner. And believe it or not, we paid the loan off yesterday.
Wow,
so
that's
the loan
awesome.
is free and clear. And then we're going to get some governmental entity that's going to give us some bridge money. So we're off and running. This golf course is going to get built. Jeff and I never wanted to start this project where we couldn't finish the golf course. In a perfect world, you'd raise all this money for all the infrastructure, golf course maintenance facility, clubhouse, and then start. But we didn't have the beauty of that. And so we've got the money raised and pledged for the golf course. We're calling that phase one. We're starting that. We've already started. Jeff Budrovich and his company's doing the early earth movement there. Chris Cochran and Doug Graham, one of the top shapers in the golf course industry, will be here on Wednesday, and he'll start shaping some of the holes next week. And then we'll bring in Rich LeBar in March, who's a prominent golf course construction company, well-traveled, well-known, done a lot of great golf courses that you know. Jack says we got to have LeBar. The project will be better with him. I convinced Rich to help us and fit this in his schedule. So we're going to build the golf course. We're going to fundraise the rest. Bob Clark, Clayco, Lamar Johnson Collaborative had designed great clubhouse. I said to him one time, what do you want? I said, well, simple clubhouse. I don't know, some clapboard. He said, that's where you missed it. This is a statement for the community. We got a caddy house, a team tech center. This is the community's asset. You got to build that thing right there on the corner of Normandy Drive and St. Charles Rock Road and make a statement for the community. The statement's going to cost a little more money, but you know what? You understand the vision, and there's a reason he's been so successful and built that massive company, and what a building artists they are. So, but that's the fundraiser phase two to raise for the rest of that. We're excited about it. It's a long slog, but just again, Jay, for your listeners, flagship site for the first tee of St. Louis.
Absolutely.
Evan Scholars will have a program there, the Western Golf Association. Every caddy fee will be paid by the Western Golf Association. The golfer only has to tip the caddy if the experience warranted it. As you know, the Evan Scholar House in Missouri is occupied not by many St. Louisans. All of these kids will qualify if we can keep them in the requirements and caddying. This could be a life-changing program for many youth. Where? In the neighborhood, right there. Everybody that works there is going to be from the neighborhood.
Tom, this Western Golf Association, the Evans piece is crucial, and I was blown away when I found out the numbers at the Evans house down at Columbia, and that their kids from Chicago and Champaign and Des Moines are filling the Missouri beds, and we're going to change that. And we're making a push on this show and some other things that we're doing to get this out for families to understand. Golf will pay for your college. You don't have to play. Right. You have to caddy.
College education, University of Missouri. Yeah, let's have kids from St. Louis and Missouri up there. Not that we don't love these other kids and what they're doing. Problem is, Jay, my club, Zach caddied at St. Louis Country Club. These kids at Old Warson, they're all great kids. Their parents don't qualify for the scholarship.
Right.
These kids will qualify. Every one of these kids is on a lunch program. So they'll qualify as long as they stay in and slog it out, get the number of rounds in, learn the experience, and the cart golfers will take these caddies too.
Absolutely, and those will qualify. And Tom, say that again, please, for our listeners, that someone wants to go play golf there. We're talking about nominal cost to enjoy this experience, a Jack Nicklaus signature design.
Yeah, we expect to charge the same rate we charged when we closed the golf course in December last year, which is, the average rate, $45. Jeff has this great scaling system where the rate goes way down when the need's not there. And the community will have the absolute access. But all the kids that work at the Teen Tech Center that will have after-school programs, in the caddy house, that get these kids off the street doing other things. Come here. Beyond Housing will be great in that effort because they know the community. They have after-school programs that they can handle that outreach. But, Jay, also, LPGA, USGA Girls Golf, Youth on Course, the Missouri Golf Foundation, Boys and Girls Club, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. All those programs have signed up. We've convinced them of the vision. We just got to build it for them.
Yeah.
And here's the thing I'm going to leave you with. These projects. The park in West Palm Beach, as Jack says, I lived here my whole life. It was a park. It's in an industrial area. It's not a community. It's not a neighborhood. The story's not near as good. They raised $100 million.
I know it. Unbelievable.
Cobb's Creek in Philadelphia. They got Tiger Woods like we got Jack. They raised $90 million. Brady Bradbury was the president of Marion. You know him, longtime Philadelphia guy. He said, Tommy, the first check I got, I've lived in Philadelphia my entire life, my family, our business. I was the president of Marion for over a decade. A guy wrote a check for $20 million. Never heard of the guy. So that's not St. Louis, right? But we got people here. We just got to tell this story. We got to get it out. We've hired a fundraising experts to help us. Unfortunately, I still have a day job. Yeah, that little law firm over there at Manchester 270 wants me to go. They want me to go there every day.
Yeah.
And as you know, they supported this crazy golf shenanigans of mine and my run in the USGA. So I need to be in that law firm right now. I wish I could do this full time, but we just got to get the story out. And you have as big a voice as anybody you have it way beyond St. Louis, but I think that's our primary target. But, we've had contact from people outside of St. Louis, and hopefully we can reach those heartstrings as well. You tell this story to people, it resonates with them. We just got to get out and tell it more, and we're going to get there, Jay. I'm committed to it. We're going to change these kids' lives.
Tom, this is an unbelievable story. We both know, and we have seen St. Louis, how charitable St. Louis is, how strong our business community is, and how they support the community and how they support sport. And so golf is no different. You look at what happened at Bellerive in 2018 and that great 100th anniversary of the PGA Championship, broke all sorts of attendance records. So St. Louis is going to deliver. They're going to show up. We've just got to keep telling the message. Thank you for all you've done. Thank you for continuing it. I'm here to help in any sort of way that I can. But Tom, how can people get involved in this? And they can reach out to me, Jay at Jay Delsing Golf, and I'll help push them in the right direction as well. But what's the best way for them to get involved?
We're going to create a website for Normandy, but right now the link is off of the metga.org, the Metropolitan Amateur Golf Association. You can click on our foundation, the Metropolitan Golf Foundation, or contact Kurt Rowe at the Metropolitan Amateur Golf Association. He can connect. He's in a process of creating just a separate. There's a Normandy golf course website right now, but we want to have this more to date. We've just operated under the Metropolitan Golf Association website,
sure,
in the foundation section of that. But you can donate on there. You can volunteer. You can tell us what door we can open, who we can go see. We'll go tell the story anywhere. It's compelling. But Jay, again, thanks for being a communicator. I've appeared in a lot of these places and talked where people wouldn't have the ability or the wherewithal maybe to contribute substantially to this. But I say we need advocates telling this story in the community. It will resonate. It will it will expand. And you've been a great advocate, and you are a great communicator. Thank you for doing that. I urge you to continue to do it because it'll be impactful.
Oh my gosh, I'm honored and flattered, and we will keep going and we'll keep telling the story. We're going to raise the money and we're going to have an asset that we can all be proud of, all of us.
Well, Jay, thank you. Thanks to Danny Mack. He's done a lot for the Golf Association. He'll continue to run our Player of the Year awards. We MC that like he's done the last couple of years. I'm sorry he was working his other job and my schedule didn't permit, but thank him for his efforts as well. Would you please?
Oh, I absolutely will, Tom. Thanks a million. I can't wait to see you. Well, I'll see you Wednesday for sure, but maybe I'll see you before then.
Okay, great, Jay. Thanks again for the effort.
Are you tired of watching your golf scores go up every year? Despite new equipment and even a couple lessons, you still fight that slice or your inability to get that ball up and down out of the bunker? Well, get ready to experience better golf with Elevate Golf. At Elevate Golf, we're changing the way golfers practice with our innovative and data-driven approach to learning and, most importantly, improving. We have an array of membership options where you can find the perfect fit for your golf, your lifestyle, and your budget. Whether you start in our full-service gym, the short game area that has real sand bunker, or one of our 7 TrackMan simulator bays, the team at Elevate Golf will do a complete assessment of you and your game, which is crucial because if you don't know where you're starting from, it's nearly impossible to attain a goal or a new level. Call us today at 636-265-0557 or visit us at elevategolf.com. That's ELV8golf.com. Contact us today and get ready to play better golf. Hey folks, we just opened the Jay Delsing Golf Shop. If you need anything golf related, you need a hoodie, you need a visor, you need a quarter zip. My daughter Gemma has spearheaded this effort and I so appreciate all of her help. But we are live and we are ready to get you into some golf gear. Folks, know this, with every single purchase, I will be donating either to the Western Golf Association in support of the Evans Scholarship Program or to Folds of Honor and the great Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney. So everything that you buy from me, we're going to make a donation to those great causes. Thanks for checking it out. It's jdelsinggolfshop.com. I am delighted to welcome Folds of Honor to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney and his team donate 91% of all funds directly to these scholarships. And oh, by the way, to date, 52,000 of these life-changing scholarships have been awarded since 2007. 45% of those 52,000 scholarships have been awarded to minority recipients. So join the Folds of Honor team today and donate at foldsofhonor.com.
Hi, this is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center. At FGLC here in Kirkwood, we feature a double-decker driving range, 2 large grass tees with Tahoma Bermuda grass. You want to work on your short game? We have a short game area too, which features a 20,000 square foot green, 3 bunkers, and Zoysia surrounds. Also at Family Golf and Learning Center, don't forget about our 9-hole par 3 course, the indoor TrackMan simulators, and our performance center. If you're looking for the best golf instruction, regardless of skill, we can help. Find out more at FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
Recently, my nephew called me and said his basement had flooded and all the hardwood, carpet, and flooring had to be replaced. I told him I have the perfect place for you to go. At Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture, this second-generation family-owned business treats everyone just like their family. Jared Capps is continuing his mom and dad's 50-year business tradition where honesty, transparency, and service carry the day. My nephew loved the luxury vinyl product. Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture has the largest selection in the area. Whether you prefer Mohawk and the wide variety of their product lines, I love the Rev Wood product, by the way, or Karastan or Pergo Elements line, Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture will literally have you covered. You have pets? Let Jared tell you about the many sustainable flooring and carpet options that are pet-friendly but also easily maintained to keep your floors looking great every day. And don't forget about their huge selection of Lazy Boy recliners. They are awesome and one of the biggest selections in the Midwest. Call them today at 618-936-0536 and get your free estimate or set up a consultation with one of their experts. You can also go to jerseyvillecarpetandfurniture.net. Proud sponsor of Golf with Jay Delsing.
Loved your visit with Tom O'Toole, and Tom is the former president of the USGA, founder of the Metropolitan Golf Association. Coming up, we'll visit with Mike Tucker, the head pro at Bellerive. That's Jay, I'm Dan. We're presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. Boy, that USGA is something, isn't it? It's incredible.
Danny, when you think, so Tommy, stayed a couple times, grew up in South County, and made it all the way to the presidency of the United States Golf Association. That's incredible. He did a lot of caddying in some really significant events for our buddy Jimmy Holtgreave. But wow, founded the Metropolitan Amateur Golf Association. He's just keeps doing his golf thing, and he's got a law degree, and it's a big-time achiever here.
Yeah. It's amazing, though, to go from South County, South St. Louis, make it, because we all have to have dreams, got to have aspirations, and for Tom to do that, it's a feather in his cap. That's remarkable to be able to do that.
Another South County guy that did that, too. I'm looking right at him.
Oh, I was South City. South County was too highbrow for me.
I love it. That's what, Mike Keogh, our buddy who's hopefully, God willing, going to be our next governor. I say all the time, well, you're from North County too, and he goes, no, you guys were highbrow out of North County. He was North City because he grew up in a place called Baden.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's funny. But it's interesting though, D, because here's a guy that's obviously got a heart for St. Louis, and obviously we know loves and supports the game of golf and however he can. I know our good buddy Matt Horner and the Worldwide technology guys, Tom does a lot of work for them, and so just connected in a lot of different ways and keeping St. Louis on the golf map. It's no mistake, or let's say no accident, that Bellerive is such a big player in the world view of golf. And Tom had a lot to do with that as well, Danny. So it's a benefit for all of us to have someone like Tom, so connected and so willing to contribute.
How about this? Live Golf just announced the details.
Are you kidding me with this?
Hold on. For the second edition of its promotions event. One change that sticks out, there's only one spot available for Live's 2025 season compared to 3 last year. 3-day, 4-round tournament will go off at a golf club at Saudi Arabia, culminate in a 36-hole finale on Saturday, December 14th, when a qualifier will be crowned. The rest of the top 10 will earn full exemptions to the International Series, the Live-backed segment of the Asian Tour. Pretty amazing. One spot is available, and go get them.
Oh, my. Can you imagine going, you got to win this. The only way to get in is you got to win, and they're contracting. What's going on, Didi? What
do you read into this? What do you think it is?
So, I don't understand. So here's what I read into it. We're hearing talk about relegation. Is Bubba Watson going to be back? Is this there's so much murkiness and so much lack of clarity, for another way of saying it, on the contract lengths, on all this stuff. But I don't want to be a Live hater anymore. I'm tired of that, okay? But what are we doing? Like, you're going to be able to tell your grandson or your son or you could play on a Live Tour, hun. Yeah, one spot. Come on, guys. Yeah. We got to be better than this. So that means Bubba Watson's not going anywhere. Who are they going to replace the relegated people with, Dan?
So I thought Bubba Watson was gone. I thought he was on the outside now.
I did too.
So you're thinking he's back in?
Well, I don't know who's going to take his place if you're not going to put qualifiers in.
Okay, I got what you're saying now.
Well, maybe
it doesn't add up.
But maybe they're going to go poach more players.
Right, which is on the table now. Brooks Koepka has come out here recently and people are reading between the lines that he's trying to get back. And what I find interesting is that some of the PGA Tour players have said, it's okay, we'll take some guys back. And others are saying, no, you can't take, player A is going to be welcome back. Player B is not.
Right.
I don't, they're a full group. I don't see how that would work.
Denny, I don't either, but I can also tell you that John Rahm's saying the same thing. John Rahm wants back as well. And whether they say it in so many words, Danny, or not, we know what's going on. And that's, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe part of their contracts are running out as well, and do they? So then Brooks Koepka, let's say Koepka was on a 3 or 4 year deal and this deal starts running out. So what if he doesn't want to re-sign with them?
Sure.
Or what if the next contract is for peanuts compared to what he has?
Don't know.
I don't know, Danny, but that's one of the things that sucks so much about the way this thing is run is we don't know anything.
Right.
We don't know anything. I could tell you one other thing that really pissed me off was that, gosh, I'm trying to remember. I'm having a senior moment right now, but there was the tournament was coming to a conclusion and it was extremely exciting, and we're having everybody on the golf course at the same time, which I'm trying to get my hands around and say, okay, whatever, you're playing on 3 and I'm closing on 16, but we're all tied for the lead and this putt is okay. It gets preempted by like a Saved by the Bell or something. I was like, come on, wait a minute. So the TV thing is a mess. Also, we've got to get something moving forward here to clean this up. If it's not coming back to the PGA Tour, and I don't know how they're going to say, yeah, Brooks, you took $150 million. I'm Justin Thomas. I'm saying, but I turned my $150 million. Yeah, come on back, and that's fine. It's not fine.
I just wonder if one size fits all kind of thing, where if you were, just a mediocre player and you jumped to live, made your money, or if you're John Rahm and made $500 million to go jump to live, if they would accept everybody back. I mean, I think it's got to be scaled in how you bring certain players back, if indeed they do that.
So, D, do you think if you say, okay, John Rahm, you took $500 million, and Taylor Gooch, you took 30. Taylor, you only have to sit out a year. John, you have to sit out 5?
I don't know. I don't think you can do that. I think you got to do one size fits all.
I agree, D.
And just wipe the slate clean in how you bring these guys back.
And what do we do without 5 years of John Rahm?
Be awful.
And I mean, does the Live – now we know the Live has the wherewithal financially to do whatever they want, right? And they basically are. What are they going to do?
Right.
You know what I mean? What is Yasser going to do? Is this going to be around in 10 years? And you're going to have – who plays it then? So are you going to re-up Phil Mickelson's $200 million deal when his deal is up? I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it make it? First of all, it doesn't make any fiscal sense. But does that even matter? I don't think it matters to him.
I miss the players. I mean, there's no question about it. I think it's a shot for the PGA Tour in the gut. I miss the players. There's some guys that went on there based on reputation, like a Phil Mickelson making that jump initially. But when you don't see Koepka and Rahm and some of the really highly competitive guys that are still out there, it makes it tough. Makes it real tough.
Patrick Reed?
That's another one I miss.
Great
villain. You need good villains.
I know. And how about DeChambeau? I mean, he's kind of one of the stars in golf right now, and you got to find him on YouTube to figure out what he's doing. And so this thing has gotten, the money has screwed us up so much, Denny, and it's all about the money, and the PGA Tour players begrudge the Live guys now because of the money. And we know the Live guys left because of the money. And now, I just don't think, even if we said, okay, here's our deal, every guy has got to pay X amount of fine. And let's say the Saudis pay the fine. Who gets that money?
Mm-hmm.
And it's still not gonna make it right that, and I'm making this up again, that Justin Thomas turned down his $150 million and Brooks Koepka kept his, and now Brooks is back, and now Brooks is playing for the same money JT is. It doesn't make sense.
No, and then you don't know where to cut off either.
No.
So you take the top 50 guys on the PGA Tour that didn't jump. You take 25. Then how do you stagger what their earnings would have been if they jumped to Live, but they stayed at the PGA Tour? I mean, there's a lot that goes into this to make this thing work.
Right, and there's this equity piece, D, that they've got with the PGA Tour where they've put this evaluation on the entire PGA Tour, which I still don't fully understand. I mean, I am a shareholder of that organization and have no idea what they're doing with my money or my retirement or any of that. But then there's more questions than there are answers as we peel this onion, T. I don't know where we go.
All right, we're going to talk about something that we know is coming to St. Louis. We'll be confident with this. And the BMW Championship is coming to Bellerive, as well as the President's Cup. And Mike Tucker, who is the head professional at Bellerive, will be our guest. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
A professional golfer, as you watch on TV every Sunday afternoon, never ventures onto the course without his trusted caddy. This was true for me for my entire career. I want you to think of Powers Insurance as your insurance caddy that you never had. Just as my golf caddy helped me to assess risk on the golf course, Powers Insurance can do the same for you in your busy and complicated life. Tim Davis, COO at Powers Insurance, did exactly that for me and saved me over 50% on one of my coverages. A good insurance risk advisor can help you know when to take a chance or when it may be smarter to take a little more club. Give the folks at Powers Insurance a call and get a caddy for all of your insurance needs. Call them at 314-725-1414. That's 314-725-1414. That's Powers Insurance. I am proud to welcome the Gateway section of the PGA back to my show. Whether you're pulling into your favorite driving range, public golf course, or country club, there is an excellent chance that the staff there is part of the over 300 men and women PGA professionals at over 100 facilities that make up our Gateway section. I grew up watching so many of these fine men and women getting to the golf course at dawn, leaving at dusk, spending their entire day running events, giving lessons, and growing this great game. PGA Reach, Drive, Chip, and Putt, PGA Hope, and the fantastic PGA Junior League are a few of the examples of the programs run by these same PGA professionals. Go to gatewaypga.org to learn more, or to find your next PGA professional for your next lesson, go to pga.com. The Gateway PGA, growing the game we love.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient? It's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make, and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Manno's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield.
Do you remember the golden rule? I'm sure you do, but just in case, it goes like this. Treat people the way that you'd like to be treated. At People's National Bank, that one statement is the cornerstone of what this bank is all about. Locally owned, with 23 locations in Southern Illinois and the metropolitan St. Louis area, People's National Bank parlays a robust menu of commercial or personal banking services you could possibly need with a friendly yet hardworking Midwestern attitude. Maybe you just want to do business with a bank whose entire team lives in the same neighborhoods as we do. If you're like me and doing business with someone you trust is important to you, then People's National Bank is the bank for you. Jason Rantham, local president, is here for you to call, and he'll answer any questions you may have. His personal cell is 314-974-2243. You can also find us online at peoplesnationalbank.com. People's National Bank is here for all of your banking needs. So you've been hearing me talk about one of our community's greatest contributors and most philanthropically inclined companies. Yes, of course, I'm talking about Marcone. They're the largest distributor of General Electric appliance parts in North America. Did you know that Marcone is also the largest and most trusted supplier of commercial and residential appliance parts, HVAC, plumbing, commercial kitchens, and pools and spas? All of that's in North America as well. That's right, Marcone does all that. Marcone is committed to supporting our first responders, all the branches of service in our military, our police and firefighters, and many more. From the viewing deck at the Ascension Charity Classic, founded in honor of our military heroes, to their commitment to Race Across America program, Marcone is here for you and your family as well as your community. That's Marcone, the official sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
With Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin. It's 101 ESPN, and we're talking golf. It's Golf with Jay Delsing coming to you from the CarShield Studios. As always, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. The head professional at Bellerive Country Club is Mike Tucker, and he's been kind enough to join us in studio. Great to be with you, Mike, and thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me, Dan and Jay. It's good to be back.
I would assume this is a busy time of year. The weather's been great.
We are at, we were just talking, I think we've had a record weather month of October. The last rains we got were from the tropical storm Helene, which was the last weekend of September, and this is the first time I woke up and saw wet pavement. So we just ran some numbers at the club, and we had a great October of 23, and we've actually exceeded it this month. So with lots of players, lots of guests, and people are just having a great time.
Tuck, we spend a great deal of our time at Norwood, and the staff up there is like yours. They're just top notch. And I looked at the boys. There's a little bit of fatigue running around. It's a long, long year, buddy.
Well, you have to remember, in the golf business, the Golf Pros National Holiday is the first day of daylight Central Standard Time. So I think the first Sunday in November weekend, the clocks roll back for us, which is good. So I hate to say that all of my friends are like, we want more daylight. And I'm like, yay, it's going to get dark at 5. We can actually get out of here. No, it's no complaints. The business and the membership's happy. The golf course is prime. I mean, everyone's greens in town. If you don't have good greens now, man, I mean, this is the time where there's no stress. It's dry. Our greens are running for our Stagmaster we had a couple weeks ago. They were running almost 13, too fast.
Wow.
I set the whole locations the next day. I'm like, what'd you do to me? I'm like, you know how that is. Like the whole location I thought was safe is now, the ball's sliding off the green. But no, it's a great time. It's actually the best time to play golf in St. Louis. And in the Midwest, we were just at the lake, and it was super weather. Everyone's having a great time and enjoying the extended season.
Do you have a lot of the dignitaries that come through St. Louis call Bellerive and say, get me on Bellerive, because they know the reputation?
Yes, we do. We have, usually we'll hear from the athletes coming down, the Cardinals, whoever the Cardinals are hosting. We'll get a few of those calls. And in the last, 20 years or so, a lot of the entertainers, a lot of the singers, a lot of country stars love to play golf. So we'll get the occasional call. And I've had some members that have bring a few people out too. So it's, you never know who you're going to hear from.
Tuck, when I think of Bellerive, it makes me smile because, for a lot of reasons, the golf course speaks for itself. But the membership has been so vital in providing top-notch golf for the community for years and years and years. I mean, in 1992, we had the PGA Championship there. We just had the 100th anniversary in 2018. Give us a little insight. I mean, you've been, you and your brother are absolutely legends over there, and it's a big deal, Tuck. Bellerive is a big deal here for a lot of reasons, but for me and what it provides from this national golf exposure, Tuck. I'm a nerd. I can't get enough of Danny. I talk about it all the time. We're like, man, I hope we're just alive in 2030 because we got the President's Cup coming to Bellerive.
I hear you. So do I, by the way. So I'm in the same boat with you. I'm just trying to make it to 26 and stay sharp. I've said this before, and first of all, my brother Jerry, who I wouldn't be sitting here with you all if it wasn't for him. I don't know if you know, but they named a short course at the club Tucker's Trail, and my line is obviously it's 90% for Jerry and 10% for me. But I mean, that just shows you how the people have been so gracious and nice to the Tucker boys over the years. And when I had the opportunity in 1987, Jerry got the head pro job here. I was finishing my senior year at SIU, and I came up knowing that they had just landed the PGA Championship of 92. So we're talking 1987, 5 years out, and you would be wasn't surprising to get calls for tickets 4 years in advance, 3 years in advance. Now that we've had a few, we know the kind of the routine. But the city of St. Louis is always in the region, they've always supported all sports, but especially championship golf. And it doesn't matter what we bring here. Bellerive's hosted, obviously, a U.S. Open, 2 PGA championships, the Senior PGA Championship, the Senior Open, and the BMW Championship of 08, and here we go, 2026, and then the President's Cup in 30, which will be a totally different animal, which I'm sure we'll touch on. But it's amazing how many people, the volunteers, as soon as they hear, I mean, we're talking as soon as they hear, that we've got an event, the volunteers start calling, hey, I want to get back in. People want to be a part of it. It surpasses just the golf fan and even the sports fan. It's an event, and people want to be at the event. They want to come out and they want to be a part of the show. So I can't thank the community for supporting the events, but really it goes back to the membership, and the membership embraces championship golf, which is not something that every club does, or every club would want to take on that endeavor. So I think the membership at Bellerive, I always applaud them and say that, if it wasn't for them willing to give up their home for a few weeks, and you know how it is, Dan, more than that. I mean, there's a lot more when those trucks start loading in March for that August event. There's construction, there's noise, there's a lot of disruption. But you know what? At the end of the day, we like to put on a good show, and we're just lucky and fortunate enough to be able to do it.
So what's happening for 26? I mean, you guys are already in preparation for that. It'll be here before you know it. What happens between now and the BMW of 26?
We're in pretty good shape right now, golf course wise, just within the ropes, so to speak. The golf course, Nick White and his team, our superintendent, we try. Our goal and our mantra is to, keep championship conditions 24/7 all year round. So you could, in theory, play a championship there tomorrow, right? That's our goal, and that's what we owe to the membership. And the expectations are high. Having said that, there's always some tweaks. The tour comes in. Hey, we would like to potentially think about adding a tee box, taking a tree down. We change mowing lines. We'll probably mow the fairways tight all the way into the bunker edges, so any ball that gets around those bunkers fall in, which brings for the tour player, the skilled player, that's what you want for a daily member play. We want to see that golf ball stop before it gets into the bunker, right?
Speed of play too,
right?
Is an issue,
Exactly,
right?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll tighten it up on the simple things. Very little discussion about 26, quite frankly. You're not going to see any changes to the golf course. We're not going to do anything when it comes to bunkering or adding features or anything. We're ready to go because of the work we did in 05-06, which was a major renovation with Reese Jones. We got ourselves in position there to see down the road 20 years that we can still host championship golf. And you've seen how many golf courses undertake, even Augusta, they go through a little renovation from time to time just to stay current. And right now we're in pretty good shape, so you won't see many changes for 26.
One of the things that I want our listeners to reiterate with the listeners is what the BMW Championship is, their partnership with the Western Golf Association, and something that's near and dear to our hearts is the Evans Scholarship Program. And all of the money, well, I shouldn't say all of it, but a big significant portion of the money that's raised through this tournament goes to support these 17 universities around the country that have Evans golf houses. And Danny and I were talking the other day, and Tuck, I'd love for you to weigh in on this. We don't feel like enough people understand the opportunity that golf provides for their children. I mean, in terms of caddies, and Bellerive's got one of the most robust caddy programs around, if not the most robust.
Well, we do actually. Randy Kruzleski, our caddy master, does a great job of recruiting the young people and around town. And we go from kids out in St. Charles County, South County, North County into the city, and try to bring in and expose the kids to the opportunity that, hey, maybe your family, which will lead into the Evans, the families who maybe aren't going to be able to send their child to a university of their choice, that we have a way to help. And getting involved and being a caddy at a program, Bellerive, we are, like I say, we're lucky. I think we have as many caddy loops or as many people that utilize caddy services at a club than any other club in town. And we've quite frankly stayed away from the professional caddy services that you'll see at some of the resorts. You'll see at Whistling Straits or down in Florida at a Stream Song or something like that, where they're professional caddies. That's their job, and they're men, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, right.
We have stayed away from that because we know we can make a bigger impact in the community by allowing and giving these opportunities to the high school and college kids that are local. And then they come in, and not only whether or not they qualify for the Evergreen Scholar, which there's obviously a financial component to it, and they have to make the grades. And if they do, it's wonderful. And we've had a couple in the last couple of years, and we have a few more candidates coming up, and we're so grateful for what the local Evans program has done and then nationally. But it also, if you're a caddy and you're coming into St. Louis, I mean, I grew up in Southern Illinois. We didn't have caddies in Carbondale in that area. But I come up here and I see, wow, there's kids that are middle class and below that are making a few bucks, but they're getting to know some people. And I have seen caddies in all my 37 years or so of being a golf professional. I've seen caddies that have gone on to work and be business partners with some of the guys that they caddied for 20 years ago. And it's amazing. It's a great avenue into the world that a lot of these kids aren't familiar with and really don't have a way to get that exposure.
There's no downside talk.
No, there really isn't. And our members, and members at Norwood and Warson and St. Louis and all these clubs that have great caddy programs, they embrace it. And they take care of the kids, obviously, by giving them they get their wage for caddying. But when they need some advice or if they need a reference, there's some really good people that they have back. And I just don't know of many other jobs that a young person can get that can give them that opportunity.
Mike Tucker, the head professional at Bellerive, is our guest. Did you go, or did people like your team members go to the President's Cup and just go watch it and say, okay, now we're seeing how some of this needs to run?
Absolutely. So every year, the year prior to or 2 years ahead of time, we'll send a contingent of staff members and obviously the committee chairs or the heads of the different committees. There's so many committees. There's a lot of work, as you know, behind the scenes. I mean, there's the fun stuff like, the marshaling and inside the ropes, and there's the not so sexy things like parking and getting the communities and trying to get the traffic patterns lined out that week, which is incredible what they do for us here in St. Louis. But we will send, I think we sent 8 people up to the BMW. And we also sent a contingency to the to Royal Montreal for the President's Cup already.
Did you get the talk?
There aren't as many of those coming up. I didn't go to this one. I would love to go to Montreal. I've never been to Montreal.
It's a wonderful city and a great golf course.
And I've been fortunate. I went to probably 15 or 16 consecutive PGAs. I went to the Ryder Cup. I was fortunate enough to be on the board of the PGA back in 2009 through 12. So I've seen behind the scenes, so to speak. And a lot of our team members, though, weren't here for the PGA or haven't seen that. So for our clubhouse managers and some of our people, our superintendent staff that haven't seen what we're going to be diving into here, it's very vital that you send those people and figure out what you may be not anticipating when the party comes to town.
Did you find any of those things out? Were you surprised?
I think the BMW, we're obviously I won't over promise and under deliver. I think we're in pretty good shape with the BMW Championship, that PGA Tour event, or that regular American Tour. I say American Tour because it's basically largely all run by the PGA Tour. President's Cup's a different story. We've not held an event, a truly international event like that. All golf championships, all major championships, and all tour events are international. This is truly working with different departments, our different leadership, entities. So putting that together and trying to anticipate the needs of the President's Cup, and then when we get closer to the time, explaining what the President's Cup, how is that going to be different from the BMW or the PGA Championship? It is different. It's very much like a Ryder Cup. So when you've watched the Ryder Cup, if you've been to a Ryder Cup, it is us versus them. Okay. Hopefully the internationals. I was kidding back at the club and my friends. I'm not trying to be unpatriotic, but we really would like to see the internationals do well at the President's Cup, so we can continue having a bit of a rivalry. It's been a little lopsided over the years. So I think as things come together, they played well. It was the score wasn't really indicative of the competition, but on that first tee, and I'll just go ahead and tell people in 2030, if you're on property, that first tee experience is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it in sports, quite frankly, and I've been to just about every event you could go to. But that first tee at the Ryder Cup that I've been to, and the President's Cup, that's when they come out of the tunnel and it's, the fans are cheering, and it's mostly always good natured, especially on the international side. They have a lot, and in the European and the Ryder Cup, a lot more characters over there, a lot more creativity on their songs and their chants and such. But I think you're just going to see. I think 2030 is going to be off the charts, and in 2030 or 2026, with the star power we have, hopefully we'll have some more people coming together there when it gets to the two tours that we're dealing with, and we'll get some things worked out and really have the best players in the world here in a year and a half.
Man, from your lips to God's ears, we hope we can get that thing figured out. Tuck, one of the things we should touch on, and I mean, we have a ton of time and really appreciate you jumping on with us, but when you go to a President's Cup or when you go to a Ryder Cup, it's not the same in a lot of ways. For example, if you're on a Thursday and we have the PGA Championship at Bellerive, you could grab your sons and daughters and go, at 8 o'clock, I'm going to run out, go to hole 12 and see what's going on. You run out there in the morning of the Ryder Cup and there's nothing going on,
right.
Because there's such more limited, but more targeted play, you know what I mean? In the groupings, and it's the 4 balls and the best ball, and so it's a different animal, but it's equally fun. And I totally concur with the first tee shot I ever experienced was up at Hazeltine in 2016 for the Ryder Cup, and the hair on my arms stood up for 3 holes. Danny, it was so pro red, white, and blue, and I've never seen so many. If you go to a ball game, a Cardinal game, you see the sea of red and the whole thing, and when we've had World Series here, the other teams are really, really well represented. It's more Cardinal fans, but there's a mix. Up there at the Ryder Cup, man, you had a pocket of the Euros, and everybody else was screaming red, white, and blue. I never had seen so much patriotism.
It is, you're right. In the States, when we host a Ryder Cup event, you'd be surprised on how many Euros do come over, but it's largely dominated by the American crowd. When you go to an international event, when you go to the European Ryder Cup when they host, which I was fortunate enough to be at Celtic Manor in Wales in 2010 when I was on the board, and it's a scene. I mean, the bullfighters, the Spaniards dressed up as bullfighters. There was a whole pack of guys that looked like Rory with the hair wearing Blue Man suits. I mean, it's they get into it, and it's always good natured. It's never mean spirited. And in the States, our USA chants are the dominant chant, and I know Beth Page will be interesting, but Jay, up in Minnesota, they got a little prickly there for a little bit at times, and I'm not sure what we're going to see in New York. I think we expect that clientele to be a little different, maybe that crowd. But as long as it stays it stays fair, and people can chant all they want. Just as long as it stays good natured, it's a blast. But it's not like a regular, because it is. You're cheering for a team, and in golf we never see that. We may cheer for you, Jay, when you're playing, but we're going to cheer for Dan too, or we're not going to cheer against him. Right. It gets a little different at the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup. So that is something that people will totally have a different experience with here in 2030.
So when you had the PGA Championship, it's well known just how it exploded, and people are still talking about it to this day. Does that have any carryover with the BMW in terms of the interest in what people are talking about in the golf community here in St. Louis?
Oh, sure. I think when I talk to people like you all do, me and being in the you guys are leaders in our golf community, and we appreciate what you do for us and do for everyone in the golf world around here. The PGA was a seminal event. It was a moment in St. Louis sports history for sure, but on the golf side, and as great as 92 was, and my brother led the Bellerive staff there in 92, and they set records on attendance, they set records on merchandising, and just in general changed. The PGA Championship wasn't like it is now in the 70s and 80s. It always has been kind of the fourth major, as we call it, but it vaulted up in 92. It now has become respected. Kerry Haig, who is our championships chairman, he does all the course setup. I think I'm biased, but I think he's the best setup man in golf, meaning he'll set up a golf course for championship experiences. Like, he's going to challenge the players, but he's also going to give them opportunities. I was very fortunate to ride around with Kerry in the setup of the 2013 senior and in the 18 PGA, and watching him set up a golf course. And I think I know how to set up a golf course for a member event or a section event. But, he's looking at opportunities to test the player, and also a way to allow, they like birdies, we like cheers, we like roars. We just don't want to beat the guys up. Unlike, with a USGA event, they're trying to identify the best player. But I think they've even changed. You see a move up a par 4 to make it drivable, making the 7th hole at Pebble Beach 99 yards. Who would have thunk that, years and years ago? So that setup of the PGA, which allowed players to go ahead and shoot a number, and Tiger shoots 64 in our green conditions, with all, just full disclosure, we're soft and receptive. So numbers were going to be shot. If they had the greens we have today at Bellerive, if they went and played Bellerive today with our greens they're almost as firm as that table and running as fast as the tabletop, maybe a little different. So the PGA Championship, we don't care what they shot. The fact is, we had a great event. We had a great Brooks Koepka he's a 4-time major winner, legit. Okay. Tiger made his run. We saw the videos from it. So that, I think people now, when they start thinking 26, it's going to be like we saw in 18. So I sure hope they think that's going to be the way it carries over.
Final question is, how will the course change, if at all, for both events? Is there anything you can think of that would pop out for both events?
So in 2026, the routing will be the same. There's nothing crazy with the routing. It'll go 1 through 18. And the golf course, as far as playability, outside of the greens being as firm and as fast as we can get them with rough in August, we'll still have, we'll keep the golf course. They're not looking to embarrass players in 2026. Okay, for the BMW, it's a second. Remember, there's only 3 legs now of the playoffs. When we had it in 2008, there were 4 legs. Now it's a very important event, so no one's going to skip it. Everyone has to play. So no, don't worry if your players in the top 100 who makes it to the top 50. Those top 50 no one's going to skip that event. So I think we'll see status quo. In 2030, we will have different routing for 2030, and due to the match play component, not everybody plays the 18th hole, right? Only half the matches, or 49% of the matches get to 18. So you'll see a bit of a different routing to be determined. So that'll be the big change there. In other words, just how we get around the golf course. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're starting to feel, once we get into 25. We'll have people actually on site, getting ready to prep for the tournament. So it's going to be another crazy one.
Can't wait. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, you bet. Thanks for having me. We really do appreciate it. And thanks for what you do for us in the community of golf. So much appreciated.
You got it. That's Mike Tucker, head professional at Bellerive. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion.
This is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center, located in Kirkwood. Our motto is play your best golf. We have the best instruction for every skill level. 2 female instructors along with our 8 PGA instructors. We're there for the kids and the adults who are starting to play and trying to refine their game. Family Golf and Learning Center features a double-decker driving range, grass tees, and a short game area, along with indoor simulators and a performance center. That's not all. Don't forget about our Back Nine Bar and Grill. Find out how we can help you and your family. Head to familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com. It's Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf.
Recently, my nephew called me and said his basement had flooded and all the hardwood, carpet, and flooring had to be replaced. I told him I have the perfect place for you to go. At Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture, this second-generation family-owned business treats everyone just like their family. Jared Capps is continuing his mom and dad's 50-year business tradition where honesty, transparency, and service carry the day. My nephew loved the luxury vinyl product. Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture has the largest selection in the area. Whether you prefer Mohawk and the wide variety of their product lines, I love the Rev Wood product, by the way, or Karastan or Pergo Elements line, Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture will literally have you covered. You have pets? Let Jared tell you about the many sustainable flooring and carpet options that are pet-friendly but also easily maintained to keep your floors looking great every day. And don't forget about their huge selection of Lazy Boy recliners. They are awesome and one of the biggest selections in the Midwest. Call them today at 618-936-0536 and get your free estimate or set up a consultation with one of their experts. You can also go to jerseyvillecarpetandfurniture.net. Proud sponsor of Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Jim Hackenberg, founder of Orange Whip and Orange Whip Training. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey, Jay Delsing here, and I know I speak for all of we golfers. We're always looking to try to improve our game. For me, that means I go to one place, and that one place is Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. Tom DeGrand opened his family business in 1975 with a goal of providing St. Louis with the finest in golf equipment, instruction, and technology. Whether you need a new rangefinder, your first set of clubs, or anything else you can think of, Pro-Am Golf has just what you're looking for. If you're a scratch handicap or you carry a 20 handicap, come visit Pro-Am Golf and inquire about a lesson from Tom DeGrand. He's been fixing golf swings and making St. Louis better at golf for over 40 years. Go get your gear, lessons, or anything golf related where I go, and that's Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. You can also visit them online at Pro-Am Golf USA. That's ProAmGolfUSA.com. It's Pro-Am Golf, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Welcome to the Corn Dunes Golf Course.
I would like to welcome you all to the Corn Dunes Qualifier. The winner of today's tournament will get an automatic bid in the big banana.
There's the anglers.
I'm from the great state of Oklahoma, oil man by trade, lover by persistence, and golfer by anointment.
The metal irons. Real golf wives.
What are you doing?
The wind's picking up.
Are you going to go down a club?
I don't know, but this breeze feels amazing on my Botox.
Denzel Washington.
We've all seen you putt. I don't need that black magic voodoo nonsense that's in your putter to infect my putters.
Jesus Chips.
There's two things I love. It's golf and the Lord. So let's get to blessing.
Johnny Longo and the Pindicate.
The prize money, 10 times that of any other scramble tournament. I mean, it's like the live tour of scramble tournaments.
Scramble, the first golf comedy TV series ever.
Now available on Amazon Prime Video.
Many thanks to Mike Tucker for stopping on by, the head professional at Bellerive Country Club. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. It's Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. Lots to unpack there as Mike Tucker and his gang over there at Bellerive are very, very busy getting ready for the stop with the PGA Tour with in 26, the BMW Championship, and then obviously the President's Cup coming up in 2030.
So, D, when I sit next to Mike Tucker, and it's great that he came in studio. It's so fun to just get to, you just have some great energy. You look at a guy like Tuck, and I'm like, this dude loves the game.
Oh yeah, he loves it.
He loves the game, and he's made a lifetime commitment of growing the game. He still plays at a high level. It's phenomenal to see. It's just he's just another one of those guys that's a warrior for the game and does these great things. He's also grooming other young professionals to go out, and it's like the Belichick tree, Danny, where they go out and they represent themselves so well. They do it at a high level, and they go to these other clubs. Yeah, and I mean, it's happening right here in town, and he's right in the middle of it all. It's just fantastic.
What do you think the feedback will be like from going off of the PGA Championship, and we talked about this with Mike and how they have to get ready, but from a general sense of the golf fan out there, going from that to the 26 BMW Championship and the anticipation that we're going to get leading into that event.
Oh, it'll be insane. I think it'll be insane. It'll be huge. Again, hats off to the membership over there, you know, and the fact that they're willing. Look, they pay a lot of money to play over there, and it's a big ask for them to give up their facility. And it's not just for a week. It's probably more like 3 weeks. It's usually it's a big ask. It's and hats off to that membership. And you know what? Let's tip our cap to that membership and tip our cap to Mike Tucker. And we'll do what? Let's just tip our cap right now.
Tip our cap, and the tip of the cap is brought to you by
our Dean Team buddies, our friends at Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, Colin Burnt, 314-966-0303. Colin and those guys, give them a call. They'll get you any sort of vehicle. They'll treat you like family. And we're going to tip our cap to Mike Tucker, his staff, and the membership at Bellerive, because St. Louis has itself thrust right in the middle of the national golf prominence, the national golf scene, and it's been that way because we've got a place like Bellerive that's world-class golf, that's willing to stand down, step aside, and allow this to come down, but they don't abandon it. They stand up. The community is involved in it, Danny. The volunteer force for a tournament like the BMW Championship is in the thousands. And like Tuck said, we've already got people lining up to, take a vacation time to come out here. They don't get paid for it. They probably have to get into their pocket a little bit, to buy a uniform or a couple of shirts or something like that. And then you have the membership, which is phenomenal, as we said. But then you also have the St. Louis business community. And, dude, I'm so proud to be able to say how we outkick our coverage in terms of our weight and our size. And it's, it's guys like Stiefel and Ron Kay that steps up and takes over the Ascension Charity Classic. It was like Ascension. And we've got Liz over there and oh gosh, Bill, that group that has stepped up and done so much for our community. And then the list, Danny, goes on and on and on. Just the folks that have supported our golf show. Ron Doherty, Doherty Business Solutions. We got Mark Travis and Nick Hamilton at Car Shield. These guys, and they're all going to be right in the middle of both of these tournaments, Danny. And they're in the middle of our community, and it makes it great. This is probably the longest tip of the cap in the history of our show, but who cares? It's fantastic. We appreciate them. Keep doing it, because golf nerds like you and I just get a huge kick out of it. It's also at the same time raising a hell of a lot of money for our communities.
How would you describe the President's Cup in conjunction with the Ryder Cup and the difference between the two? I mean, there's the easy difference of where the players hail from and how the teams are formatted, but is there a difference in the viewing experience if you're on the grounds and what you're trying to experience as a fan?
Yeah, it really is, because you have to be a little more savvy about what's going on, because first of all, and one of the things I thought was interesting, D, and I wanted to make sure we talked about this, is Tuck brought up rerouting the golf course. And I think that's really interesting and cool, because he's got the data. I don't, but he said 49% of the matches, Danny, don't make it to the 18th hole. So basically, when you're designing, and this is one of the things that we had problems with Liv about. When a golf course is designed, it's designed with crescendos and flows and ups and downs, with the ultimate being the 18th hole. I mean, Pebble Beach, the 18th hole, you're like, holy cow, man, now I got this. Yep. And I've got this in front of me, and it creates its own drama and buildup, and it's this natural flow to the way the tournament ends. Well, what's going to happen at Bellerive is that you're not going to get to see the 18th hole a lot. And when you do, it's dramatic, but you still might miss marquee players that, took care of their matches ahead of time. So how are we going to, and what are we going to do to try to, use more of the golf course's assets per se, Danny, to to make it more vital for television and make it a better viewing experience, while also providing a cool option for our spectators, because let's face it, this is about the fans.
Right.
This is about the fans. And so it's going to be different. And there's an opportunity at Bellerive on holes 12 and holes 3 for them to make some crossover. Meaning, so if you played Bellerive, you get to the golf shop, you go up it's a little to the east, you go up a hill, and the first tee is up there. And it's cool because you look to your right and you see the 9th green, you see the tennis courts, pickleball, all these cool things over there. And then behind you, you have the iconic clubhouse. So that's super cool. And if you play the back 9, when you come up to that 9th hole, you walk back through the golf shop area and you walk over a little further west, and there the 10th tee is. But what's cool about the way Jones designed this golf course is 1 and 10 head out the same directions. 2 and 11 head out the same directions, D. And then the 12th tee and the 3rd tee, the 3rd being a par 3, the 12th being a par 4, are in reasonably close proximities that you can make a crossover like that and go, okay, so instead of going current hole number 10, current hole number 11, current hole number 12, you can go current hole 10, current hole 11, over to 3 and get to play over on that side of the golf course a little bit. And that's kind of cool. And I think the way that Jones designed the end of the original routing, we want the players playing that every day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We want to see 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, even if they're renumbered to be called 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. We want guys playing those holes. They're cool holes, they're showcase holes, and they're easy to be spectated holes.
I'm curious, too, about how many of the fans will be allowed on the premises, because it's not 1 through 18.
Yeah.
It's different,
right.
So how much there's going to be a limit on tickets, and how much does the local community get, and then your sponsors, and then people from out of state or out of the country that come in.
Right.
How they divvy that up, I always find it's kind of interesting.
I do too, Danny. That's a great call. And I hope they don't do what the USGA did at last year's U.S. Open at Los Angeles Country Club and make it look like, it just, from some of the TV views, you're like, there's nobody out there. So I'm hoping that there's not a limit in that regard. But to your point, there needs to be some help to the spectators in the way the thing's going to flow, so that you get to see the most amount of golf that you can see from the best points of view and get some of the best parts of the golf course taken care of.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to our next segment. We'll go into the mailbag. You can email us, jay@jdelsinggolf.com. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Daugherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Daugherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Daugherty Business Solutions. Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. Brought to you by CarShield and Doherty Business Solutions. Every Sunday morning from 8 to 10. It features top guests, tips from a PGA Tour player, and the latest news and notes from around the world of golf. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
I am delighted to welcome Folds of Honor to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney and his team donate 91% of all funds directly to these scholarships. And oh, by the way, to date, 52,000 of these life-changing scholarships have been awarded since 2007. 45% of those 52,000 scholarships have been awarded to minority recipients. So join the Folds of Honor team today and donate at foldsofhonor.com. Are you and your company struggling trying to keep up with all of your city, county, and tax state filings, Secretary of State, Department of Revenue, and FCC tax responsibilities? Well, help is on the way. Compliance Solutions is here to relieve your pain. They can prepare, file, and pay each and every one of these for you. As the industry leader, Compliance Solutions will customize a plan just for you and have you covered from start to finish. Founder and CEO Mark Lambert believes it's far more important for you to be spending time with your customers and growing your business instead of being inundated with the never-ending regulatory nightmares. Wes Johnson is the Executive Vice President, and his personal cell is 214-226-7813. Call today and be prepared to get some good old-fashioned customer service. Compliance Solutions will get you out of the weeds and back into the middle of the fairway. That number again is 214-226-7813.
Heading down the stretch on Golf with Jay Delsing. With Jay, I'm Dan. Our thanks to Mike Tucker, who was part of the show, the head professional at Bellerive Country Club, Tom O'Toole, former president of the USGA and founder of the Metropolitan Golf Association. And as we head down the stretch, we answer some emails, jay@jdelsinggolf.com. We've gotten a few about the leaf rule. And what is the leaf rule as we play here in the fall, Jay Bird? What do we got?
Danny, this could be an entire show all to itself, because I don't really know if the leaf rule is a thing, but I just want you to know it was a thing in my family. So when my dad was playing, and my dad was still alive, he loved to fall golf because of the leaf rule, because if he couldn't find his ball, he just would claim, hey, I'm using the leaf rule. I'm like, Dad, you can't use the leaf rule in June. The leaves have to be off the tree. You know, you can't have leaves on the tree and you can't find your ball. Oh my gosh, my brother and I used to laugh all the time. And so there are certain considerations when golf courses don't have the ability, Danny, to pick up the leaves. Well, you've got big trees at your house. You see the trees at my house too.
Oh, yeah.
The leaves get,
all over the place,
2 feet deep and all over the place, and then they get a little wet, and so the ball will kind of roll underneath them, and you can't find them. But it's probably something that you should discuss before you play with all of your buddies and whoever you're playing with, and say, yeah, okay, we're going to use the leaf rule if we all agree on it. But it needs to be something you all agree upon, because it can be like throwing a can of gas on the fire if you got a couple of dollars on the line and one of your buddies says, yeah, my ball should be right here, but it's under a leaf. I can't find it. And the other guy's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not a USGA rule. It's definitely not a tournament golf sort of rule, but it's fun and it can be a thing. It really can be because the lease can get crazy.
So did you apply it in your games this past week?
We did not, and we.
Did you lose a bunch of balls?
We lost some balls, but man, I found a bunch of balls too. So I had a crazy day. I had 8 birdies, but I also had 2 penalty strokes and 3 bogeys. So I wound up shooting 5 under. But
wow, 5 under.
It was a good day. I had a good back 9. Yeah, so it was one of those days. Every single putt I hit looked like it was going in. They all didn't go in. I don't think they ever will or do. But I made most of the ones I should have made, and we a couple of foul balls hit like I always do, but a couple of birdies, and that's what we look like.
What's your advice on the conditions playing at this time of year? Now, here's the thing, though. This, as we talk on this Sunday, it's going to be 80 degrees on Tuesday.
I know.
So you're getting some days that are 60. You're getting some days that are 80.
Yeah, right. You got to remember, folks, this modern day golf ball performs at its optimum at 80 degrees and plus. Okay, and that's not me making that up. That's a fact. So when you get these fall days, let's say you got a beautiful fall day, it's 65 and sunny with no wind, that golf ball is going to go shorter than it did for you in the summer, and it's going to be at least half a club. And then if you start getting the wind involved in there, Danny, we haven't had any significant rain, I think Tuck said, since the last week of September. Now, it rained this morning, and I heard it while I was sleeping, but it didn't seem significant to me. I don't know what you guys got at your house, but
it's minimal.
It was minimal. I mean, we need the rain, but what we noticed on the golf course was that, man, the fairways were running. And, where you get into some of these drier areas, Danny, the ball will just take off. And so, I mean, that's definitely a thing. You're going to be hitting some shots from places in your golf course that you're not used to hitting, both good shots off the tee that are going rolling and rolling and rolling when the zoysia is so dry and firm like it is now, or when you hit that little, that duck hook kind of got over there in the hard pan and rolled down there. So you're going to see different parts of the golf course that you're not accustomed to. But when you get playing in this weather that's in its 60s and a little bit of wind, you're going to have to take more club, folks. I know it still feels like, it is great weather, but it's not warm, and that ball doesn't have that. Danny, you had a couple of shots this summer. I'll never forget you hit the one on number 4 on the West Coast at Norwood, and the ball just exploded, and you looked at me, and I'm like, dang,
yeah,
that ball popped off the club
That's
face.
The one I remember, and it's only one.
It was a good one. It almost went in the hole. But so that makes a difference, and then the wind makes it really, really tough.
Yeah.
And the conditions as they are right now, Danny, are about as difficult as you'll find. Hard, fast greens, a little bit of breeze, and the ball not flying in the air as much as you're talking about. The only difference, the only time when it plays harder is when it's cool and in the spring, because the greens aren't as good, so the surfaces aren't as pure, but they're not as hard, so it's easier to get the ball around the hole.
What about chipping in this type of weather? And I mean that just because the greens are so hard.
Yeah, you really got to work on how to flight that ball with your wedge or with whatever club you're chipping with, and you really got to try to chip that thing to a spot, Danny, being mindful of how high or how low you're going to hit it, because, man, if that thing comes in too low, D, it's not going to stop, and it's going to roll all the way off the back edge of the green, and you're going to get a chance to chip again from the other side.
What about, and this is something I think a lot of amateurs, and we get a question about this, Jay, I can't read greens and speed of the green. A lot of people are asking about that, especially if you're playing, like Mike Tucker said, at Bellerive, or you go out to Norwood, and these are really good courses, and you're on those greens that are rolling like lightning. How do you adjust to that, or is it just something that you have to figure out as you go along?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and I think the adjustment, nobody's can tell you, Danny. Like, I can't sit there and tell you how hard to hit a putt or a shot, D. Your touch and feel is unique to you, and it's an expression of you practicing and trying to figure out, like, what you've been a member at Norwood for years and years before you rejoined this year, and what's a fast putt to you is not the same fast putt to somebody that plays at Gateway National, for example, right? It's just not. And so you can't just say, we have really fast greens. You've got to pay attention. You need to get on the putting green. And folks, it sounds crazy, but you feel it first with your feet. You just feel it first with your feet, and you know when they're harder and when they're softer. Anyone that's walked on a green after a really steady, hard rain, you feel how, you know that ball's not going to hit on that green and go very far. But if you walk on any of the greens in our areas right now, man, that thing is going to feel like about probably as firm as you probably ever felt the greens in your life.
You were telling me the other day that when you shot the 5 under, you hadn't picked up a club for like 2 weeks. Did it feel foreign in your hands?
I did. I was, the first drive I hit a little fat. I did. I drop kicked it a little, but it happened to go right down the fairway, and I was like, ooh. But I'm doing my fitness. I'm starting my winter fitness routine right now, Dan. I want to talk about that a little bit. So I lifted, and my arms were like, whoa.
Yeah.
And my arms. People. Here's what's so funny about me lifting. Nobody knows I lift. They look at me and like, dude, you have the body of a retired mailman. You look like all I've done my whole life is walk, and my arms are little noodles. And I try to, and I'm like, if you knew how long I've lifted weights, you'd say, dude, what are you lifting? I mean, are you lifting any? Because it doesn't look it. Like, I don't look like I do that, but it's weird because that feeling of my arms feeling heavy or slow made me want to speed up, and that's not good. And so that's what happened on the 2 holes where I lost balls and I hit them into the bushes. So
hit them into the bushes.
Yeah, it's okay. But so folks, we're getting into that time of year, man, where this weather is going to start changing. Unfortunately, we're going to lose San Diego here before too long in the Midwest. And I can't encourage you enough to get to places like Elevate Golf, get to places like Family Golf and Learning Center, and they talk to the Zach Cutler at Family Golf, talk to Tyler at Elevate Golf, and get in there and figure out where you can make some significant changes in your game. And folks, even if it's only a stretching program, you're not likely to lose distance when you come out of the gates next year. And Danny, how many times have we heard that from people going, oh my gosh, I came out this winter and this next spring and I was awful.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do that. We want to come out running. So these guys have programs they can set up for you and get you into you don't even need a gym membership, man. You go out and see these guys, go see Tyler at Elevate, go see Zach over at Family Golf and Learning Center, and let them put a program together and just start a relationship with them.
It's been a great show. Tom O'Toole was our guest. We also had Mike Tucker from Bellerive Country Club. That's Jay. I'm Dan. And how do we end the show, Jay?
Hit us straight, St. Louis. Have you noticed how expensive it is to attend or send your child to college? It's nearly impossible not to be blown away at the current cost. And oh yeah, we both know it's only going to cost more next year. Well, get ready for a game-changing solution for you, your child, and your entire family. Have you heard of the Evans Scholarship Program? This is a 120-year-old program that's been sending qualifying young men and women to college absolutely free. That's right, for no cost to you. In 2024 alone, 1,130 men and women are receiving this scholarship across 24 of the finest universities in our country. To date, over 12,000 men and women have graduated using the Evans Scholarship, with the average GPA being 3.3, and the graduating rate for these scholars is an impressive 95.6%. To qualify, you must have a strong caddy record, outstanding grades, excellent character, and a verified financial need. To find out more, visit WGAESF.org. Have the warranties on your car expired? If so, it's just a matter of time before that vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. And did you know that auto repair costs are up 20% this year? That's 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is only 3 years old, it's still prone to these expensive costs. When you enroll in a car protection plan from CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers plans that start as low as $100. Their protection plans cover over 5,000 parts for your vehicle, and you also get 24/7 roadside vehicle assistance. To find out more, visit carshield.com.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient? It's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Manno's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield.